Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tech Bites podcast. My name is Dan Hafner. Happy New Year, happy 2026, first episode of this new year. I'm excited to be back. I was actually pretty sick for most of the holidays, so I'm finally feeling better, finally feeling back to it. So let's go, my friends. This is going to be a good year. This is going to be really, really awesome. So I wanted to kind of come in here with a solo episode to start this year and talk about a topic that I have obviously been talking about for a lot on this show, but I finally had some time over the holiday break and over the past few months really to really dive into a bunch of the different vibe coding platforms out there. So I've tested and got feedback and done research on 5 different tools. Now, this is not a comprehensive list, but based on my opinions, my takeaways, and also research that I've done from other friends and colleagues and clients that have used these, I'm going to break down 5 of these vibe coding software building tools, give you my honest take, my honest opinion, because you know my opinion. If you've listened to the show before, there's a lot of YouTube stuff out there. There's a lot of stuff on Twitter around building an app in a weekend and, just give into the vibes. Like, what is this actually possible to build really, really cool things? And there's new platforms seemingly every single day or every single week. So how do you know which is going to be the one that you want to use? Which is going to be the one that's going to give you the best shot to succeed? And which of these just actually end up screwing you in the end and not making you able to launch anything successful? So again, I'm just talking about 5 of these. I'm not crowning a winner. I'm not going to go through and demo any stuff. I'm just telling you what each one's actually good for, what it might not be good for. Okay. So one important thing before I start, just my quick disclaimer. I am not affiliated with any of these at all. I've used all of them. I also have done research and AI research on all of them. Some are better than others. Some are better than others in other ways. Some help you code faster. Some help you think better. Some help you just skip coding entirely. Again, I'm not trying to crown a winner or give you any bad information. And this stuff is changing all the time. So at the time of this is early January 2026. This might be out of date in 3 months. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I'm not affiliated with any of these at all. And you can make decisions based on this for yourself. If I sent you here to this episode, it's another reason I'm recording this is sometimes I get so many people asking me about which one is the best. Welcome into this episode, and I'm going to break this down for you. Okay. All right. So the first one I want to talk about is, you've heard me talk about it before. I've talked about it in speeches. It is probably the biggest, most notable one out there, and it is Lovable. Okay. So Lovable feels to me a little bit like having a pair programmer sitting next to you, like someone in the room that's like been there, done that, walking you through the actual process of getting what you need to do. So you got to know what you're building. You got to know how to guide this stuff, but it's really, really good at scaffolding and building and mapping out your ideas very quickly, right? So I think where does Lovable shine? It shines in very early prototypes, turning like rough or sketchy ideas into actual structure ideas, and then kind of getting unstuck when you're kind of staring at a blank file or a blank screen. Like it's kind of like writer's block, right? I've had that too, where I'm just like, I don't know where to go with this software, right? It's really, really good for that. It can kind of prompt you along. Now, where does Lovable struggle? I think that it can actually kind of do a little bit what AI does. At least I've seen it do this, where it's actually confident in its wrong answers. I've actually seen that. Now, this can be applicable through any of these platforms again, but it can be very confident when it's wrong. And then again, kind of like any other tool, if your prompts are sloppy, you're going to get sloppy results. And then you still own the debugging process. So there's been a lot of people that, run out of credits and do different things like that, but it has really come a long way. So Lovable really rewards clear thinking. If you are very clear on what you're trying to build, Lovable is a really, really good, really solid platform to get that built. It really is. And if you're already like pretty technical or semi-technical, it's really a force multiplier. But if you're not, it can feel really cool until shit breaks, and then you're like, where do I go from here? And that happens with a lot of other platforms, another one that I've talked about too. But it is what it is. So that's kind of my verdict on Lovable. All right, second platform is Replit. Now, Replit's very different. It kind of feels like a live coding playground with AI built in, not just like your prompting stuff, right? So you're writing code, you're running it instantly, and you're seeing the results almost immediately, right? So that feedback loop that you get is very huge. It's very interactive. It's really cool. So like where Replit shines, in my opinion and other people's opinion, is that it's very good for testing ideas fast, actually learning by doing things. And then what's really cool is you can share runnable code with other people in those accounts and stuff, which is really really neat and very cool way to get feedback from somebody other than AI, right? Because it can also tell you wrong information. Now, where does Replit fall short? I think it's not always production grade out of the box, at least from what I've seen as well. I've also heard from other people that bigger projects can feel like they get kind of cramped in there. I've had a couple clients tell me that as well. And then you still obviously need discipline, or things can get messy pretty fast. And that's because you're playing around with stuff that you don't have access to in some other platforms. So, excuse me. I think my biggest takeaway, Replit, is it doesn't really hide reality from you, right? Like our next platform kind of does. It doesn't pretend that like coding's easy. It just really makes it faster, right? So overall, really good platform. Okay. Third platform is Base 44. Now this one it's really interesting. I've used this myself quite a bit. I've had clients use it. It's an outlier. It's really not coding like at all. It's really built for the person, I think, perfectly. That's like, I have an idea and I want to see it live in 30 seconds. Like I don't have time for nothing, right? Like that's really what this is for. Like it's very, very fast. And it handles a lot of stuff like the backend, the authentication, the database, deployment. Like it's not logic line by line. It's like prompting an entire system into existence like that. It's pretty wild. Um, so again, where does Base 44 shine? Idea validation, investor demos, quick spin up prototypes, and then also like MVP validation or market validation to prove that something should exist. Like there's really not a faster platform that I've found, especially when like sometimes you'll prompt things in a lot of these tools and you find that you might have a dashboard that looks really, really cool and has all these different things, but none of it's clickable. You can't edit records. You can't do all that type of stuff. Base 44 does a lot of that out of the box really, really well, better than a lot of other platforms I've seen. Now, where does it break down? Again, that long-term control, the custom logic, and like really kind of understanding like what's happening under the hood, because it's not really showing a lot of code or doing a lot of like, it's obviously doing code in the background. But it's kind of hard to like see that based on other platforms. So it's a hell of a platform, Base 44. It's really dangerous, like in a good way. Like it lets you go, like it actually gets people to be confused. Like, is this a working product or just a demo? Like I've seen that too. I had a client of mine spin one up and I was like, wow, like this is pretty amazing. Like we could really do something with this. So if you need proof and you need it fast, Base 44 is your ticket. Now, if you do need a solid foundation and you need a lot of control and like really granular control over stuff, I don't think it's going to be your platform. But if you're looking to go fast, Base 44 is your ticket. All right. Platform number 4, Google AI Studio. Now, this is one I probably have the least experience with, but it's wild. It's absolutely nuts. It's powerful. It's flexible. It's like infrastructure level tooling. Like it's pretty nuts, and it's really really good with embedding a ton of AI into tools. Like so, if you have a very heavy AI based application, Google AI Studio might be something you want to look into. You can really do things that scale very well and embed a lot of AI into it. It's really, really neat. Now, I had a client recently of mine that we built an app like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, before vibe coding was a thing, like in a tool like Bubble or Adala or whatever it was in. And he wanted to kind of go back in and he took Google AI Studio and just prompted this thing into existence. And I'll tell you what it spit out based on the description and the screenshots and everything was insane. Like it was really, really, really well done. I was blown away by what it actually created. Now I will say Google AI Studio is not really a beginner friendly tool. Like even myself, I struggled a little bit with it. I put that in my notes in here because there is a bit of setup and it's really kind of tough to kind of get going. So if this is the first platform you're diving into, going into vibe coding, I might want to start with something like Lovable or Base 44 before you dive into this. It can be overkill. Like it can actually be some overkill for like simple ideas that might be better for like a Base 44 type of tool. But you know, in my humble opinion, I don't think Google AI Studio is about vibing at all. It's about capability. Like it's a very, very powerful platform. If you want some plug and play stuff, you want some simple stuff, I think there's other platforms for you. But if you want something that's controllable, very in depth, very strategic, this is where Google AI Studio really makes sense to use. Okay, and then platform number 5, I have mentioned this before, and I've used this also for myself. This is probably one of the ones I use most heavily. Actually, I will say this is the tool we use most heavily, and it's called Greta. Greta. The other company name it goes under is Questera as well. It was actually a very cool tool we found on AppSumo. It is really, really powerful, and I really like it a lot. There are some pros and some cons to it. I think it's really good for clarity. Again, it's a little bit like Lovable in that sense. It really shines when it comes to planning, when it comes to narrative driven builds. Like I've seen it build very, very robust, very awesome onboarding sequences that are very in depth. So that's really, really neat. And we've also used it kind of as almost as like a design prototype type of tool, where you can just it really can run on its own and do. And by that I mean it can actually build on vague prompts. Like it can actually kind of be pretty robust. Now, some of the drawbacks to it, it falls short when you need like really execution tools. It's not a full replacement for like dev platforms. Now, it does sync very easily with Supabase and with GitHub, kind of like a lot of other tools do. But it's actually very seamless and very usable. And then you can control all that stuff in there. Especially, I love syncing it with GitHub, and you just sync the code, and boom, off you go. It's deployable. It's a really, really, really powerful tool, and we build a lot of client apps with it. And it really helps you build the right thing. You can also go just into chat mode, and you can just chat about it where you're not using AI credits. So it's really I really like it a lot. I think it's very powerful. There are things I've seen it break a lot in opportune times where we had like overly complex prompts that we put into there. And we chatted support, and they're like, "Yeah, you just had too long of a prompt." And I was like, I don't like that at all." But you know, it is what it is. I guess you know AI can only handle so much AI sometimes. So again, my final verdict, my big picture takeaway from all of this stuff, my real conclusion is again, none of these tools that I mentioned are going to replace skill. They're not going to replace judgment and critical thinking, and they're not going to magically make bad ideas good. Like none of them are. They're just tools. They're means to an end, right? So now you kind of been waiting for my quick hits, my quick hitters, whatever you want to call them. Do you want proof of concept fast? I'd go with Base 44, in my opinion. You want to like code faster? I would go with Lovable or Replit, like to actually have workable code that you can maybe export somewhere else. Do you want like some robust AI infrastructure? Google AI Studio. You want some clarity and some really, really nice looking things that you can deploy and kind of go very fast with? I'd use something like Greta, right? So again, I think it always depends on what you're trying to build, what your level of technical expertise is, and then you know, just kind of making sure that you're very clear about the path that you want your platform or your tool to actually go. So um, again, there's a lot to this world. It's moving very fast. It's changing very fast. And if you're experimenting with any of these tools right now in any kind of capacity that you're doing it in, the goal really isn't to avoid the effort. It's to avoid the wasted effort, right? That's a very interesting distinction there. So you have to use the right tool for the right use case, right? So kind of here's like the blunt truth and my quick offer to all of you. You can waste weeks or months in the wrong platform and still feel productive the entire time. I just mentioned, I didn't even go over another tool that I've used a lot of. It's called Famous. And I've had many, many, many people reach out to me and say that they've gotten 95% of the way done and they can't prompt their way out of errors. They can't quite finish it. They can't quite launch it. Again, that can happen in any platform. I've seen it more in that platform than anything else. So I've watched this happen over and over and over again. So if you have an idea, you're thinking about diving into this vibe coding thing, you think it might be worth pursuing, and you don't know what platform to use. Should it be Base 44? Should we try Lovable? Maybe we tried something else, maybe a new one that's a new kid on the block that I don't even know about, right? I do offer short consultation calls specifically to help you through, or your team or whoever, through that decision in that process. So what we'll do is we'll look at, like, what are you actually trying to build, whether you need like a proof of concept or like a solid foundation of what this is, and then which platform would make the most sense for you right now if this is the path that you want to go on. Because there's also like a decision of, should we use this platform right now and then maybe go into this one down the road? Do we want one that's going to be in forever? Like there's a lot of a lot of things that go into this decision. So if you and or your team or whoever, you and your business partner want some clarity and some consultation on that, you can click the link in the show notes below, and you can book a consultation call with me, Dan Hafner of Dapper No Code. I will personally come on and talk you through this, and there's no upsell, there's no pitch. You don't have to work with me. Don't think I'm going to come in here and just sell you on working with me. That's not what this is about at all. I want to make sure that people go down the right path and they have the right tools for the right thing that they're trying to launch. Now, the consultation call is $75. It's 1 hour, and you'll walk away with the recording, all of the decisions that you need to make, all the things you want to think about, anything that we can get you to move forward faster and get also down the right path, so you don't just spend months going down the wrong one. Okay. So you can click that link below, book your consultation call with me. I'd be happy to meet with any of you listening or watching this show. Again, $75, and I will see you there. So that is my quick takeaway from all of this. And I appreciate all of you for listening and joining, and I'll talk to you next time. See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Tech Bites, your go-to show for software business and technology. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with our latest episodes, insights, and stories. Hungry for more? Dive deeper into the world of no-code by visiting dappercode.com. Your journey to building amazing software without coding skills starts there. Connect with like-minded creators and unlock a world of resources tailored just for you. Subscribe now. Explore Dapper No Code and let's innovate together.